It is my last day in Ashgabat. Got kind of an entire day of, or a bit of a day of exploring. So we're going to try and find Lenin.
Hello, here I am.
Basically, when the USSR fell, Turkmenbashi tried to bring the country together, create a sense of identity, and a lot of the old USSR monuments were removed, taken away. However, there still is a statue of Lenin in Ashgabat. So I'm going to try and find him, the last remnants of the USSR here in Ashgabat. One thing that makes Ashgabat slightly challenging to walk around is that I've got my maps here, downloaded the map, Apple Maps, but the offline version, you can't get directions. It's the offline version because you just can't get data here. Even the data in the hotel, you can basically go on no websites. And the websites you can go on are incredibly slow. WhatsApp doesn't work, Facebook doesn't work, so I've had no contact with anyone from the outside world for about 5 days, which, to be honest, has been really refreshing because I'll hold my hands up to this, I am completely addicted to my phone, completely addicted in a way that's kind of not okay. So it's been really nice to break that addiction and not be constantly checking the news. And although we are flying over Iran tomorrow, and maybe there's been stuff in the news about Iran, possibly it was when we left. So it would be nice to know. It would be nice to know what the Iran situation is since we're flying over there. Right, I've taken a wrong turning. Emma's going to shout at me. Let's go down the right turning. Emma's getting a taxi because she didn't fancy a morning walk. But now we're split up. We got, again, because there's no internet, we've got no way of communicating with each other. So she's going to meet me at a cafe, which she'll probably get there in 5 minutes. I'll get there in half an hour. It's like being in the 70s. So, here's some. If you walk around Ashgabat, they're definitely trying to project an image, all white, all kind of gleaming marble, all the buildings are clad in marble. But here, we've got some more Soviet-style old houses that you can see. So, it's not all marble. There is a real city functioning underneath that. There's like a separate administration / monuments part of the city to show tourists. These are very Soviet-type blocks. If you've got any comments or questions about Ashgabat or Turkmenistan, please leave them in the comments and we'll do our best to answer as many as we can, either in the comments or maybe we'll make an FAQ video if we get enough comments. So if you've got any questions, please put them in the comments below. I'm usually pretty good at responding to comments. And also, I've got to say this, chuck us a like, chuck us a subscribe. You've got to say, they do a good roundabout in this country. Another old babushka cleaning the monument there in the middle. Even the billboards are gold and white. Kind of fancy. Chosen the worst angle for that, haven't I? Even the billboards are gold and white. Kind of fancy in this part of town. So this is the bit that you'll see a lot of on YouTube videos if anyone's been to Turkmenistan. It's not really representative. It's like going around the city of London and saying, oh, this is London. You know, it's all the posh financial district. This is the new cardiology centre. Doesn't look open, does it? That's a big cardiology centre. Looks fancy. Again, we'll never see what's inside. It is one of those places where you smile at people as you walk past, they don't smile back. One thing I read was that Turkmenbashi outlawed beards. Don't know if it's true, but everyone is clean shaven here. I've not seen a single Turkmen with a beard. Suggests that beards are not culturally okay here. I'll tell you what else isn't okay. Beeping your horn. There's lots of signs about saying no beeping. I'm going to put my camera away. I'm starting to feel a little uncomfortable around here filming. So here they are, the famous white-clad apartment buildings. There's more marble-clad apartments in Turkmenistan, in Ashgabat, than anywhere else in the world. Everything has this marble. And at night time, insert picture here, everything's all lit up in quite a exuberant way, I'd say. Of course, what I can't tell you is how many people actually live in these fancy apartments, and what they look like inside. Because like the apartments are clad, I feel like that's the vibe of the city. Like, they've clad everything. But underneath, I'm not sure what's there. And we'll never know. We'll never know. So that's good content, isn't it? Right, this walk is taking way longer than I thought it would. Here's the Ministry of Finance with a giant gold coin on the top. There's lots of buildings like that. The Ministry of Global Affairs has a big globe on the top. It's like when they draw Metropolis in Superman cartoons. Kind of comic book vibe. But you know, I'm kind of into it. By the way, the other day, if you saw our last video, it's snowing. Today, absolutely boiling hot. I had to take my hat off and open my jacket. Cannot understand the weather here. Another 5-star hotel in the background there. Now I know there's some Russian presence here due to the oil and gas, although apparently the smallest amount of Russians in the Stan area, smallest percentage of Russian population. I do wonder, there's a couple of 5-star hotels and I wonder who's staying in them, because from what I've seen, our group of about 40 people are the only tourists in Ashgabat at the moment. And in fact, a few places we've been, we went to a restaurant last night, and there's a YouTube short about it, where we saw a dance. Restaurant last night, lovely food, but the head of the tourism was there. And when we were at the New Year's Eve, the Gates of Hell, the head of tourism was there. So, maybe oil and... They're definitely not tourists staying in the hotels. Maybe oil and gas executives. They're massive hotels, and I can't imagine there's enough people to make that viable. Again, we're seeing the outside, and what I want to see is the inside, but I think that's always going to be impossible in a place like this. It's kind of vague. I'm pointing the camera at myself now, but there is definitely a vague feeling, and you get a few looks and stares more than anywhere else I've been. You probably shouldn't be filming, and you're about to get approached any minute. I'm slightly wary. But again, here's the white marble. Look at this massive road that I'm just walking down the middle of. There's 0 people. No fear of getting run over whatsoever on this huge road. There's the coin. But I've crossed because I want to show you this park. So, the rulers here, present, very venerated here. Cannot say anything bad about the president. That's one of the 8 pillars of Islam in Turkmenistan. And here he is. This is actually the former president, who's now going to be like leader of the country. I'm going to put my recording away now because there's police around. As I mentioned there were police. And as I got a bit closer with my GoPro, they asked me to stop filming, came over and watched as I deleted the footage, which was slightly weird as it's just footage of a nice arch and the former president in that nice arch. I don't know why they wanted it deleted, but I did. I did, however, film on my iPhone.
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you.
So I've seen Emma in the restaurant. I will talk about having to delete my footage later. Now we're getting a taxi to the Carpet Museum. You want to see a carpet?
So bad.
Let's go. So this is the Carpet Museum. It doesn't look open, does it?
No, but nothing does, so...
Whoop! We're in someone's way.
So we'll see.
So this is the Turkmen Carpet Museum. And I think it's too expensive to get in.
I literally paid like £10 to look at carpet.
Do you like carpet though?
Not much. They're all quite similar.
I thought they had one of the mannequins on this carpet, but it was actually a woman asleep, because in this huge museum we are the only people in it. I don't know what I expected, but this is a museum of very identical looking carpets. There's a big carpet behind though, biggest carpet in the world according to Guinness World Records. So that's fun, isn't it? Apparently. We are literally the only tourists here to see this. There aren't even like Turkmen local tourists, are they?
It's on holiday. Also, probably they have loads of these carpets in their own actual homes.
These are good, these weavings at the back. You've now seen the biggest carpet in the world. Don't say I don't treat you on holiday. It turns out this isn't actually the biggest carpet in the world. It was like 10 years ago, but there's one in Abu Dhabi that's like way bigger. This is the best one, I think. How intricate that is. You have that in your living room?
Yeah, I would.
It's such a weird feeling to be in a huge museum that's completely empty and has like 5 members of staff all hiding you and 2 of you just looking at a load of carpets. Here's a baby thing. Slip and bibber. If you're in Ashgabat, I'm not sure I'd recommend a visit. We've not got many mana left. We kind of used up 200 of them seeing this place. I'm not sure that was a good decision. So that was a bit of a bust. The Carpet Museum, wasn't it, Emma? Now we're getting a taxi to the little shopping centre where I can find my statue of Lenin, but we're in a non-white car, which is the first... When's the last time you were in a non-white car?
For a while, even your car's white.
Our taxi was 20 mana, and he's dropped us off here, which is the Gulistan State Shopping Centre, also known as the Russian Bazaar, where you can get loads of souvenirs. But past here is the Lenin Monument, which we're going to see. That boy said something. A little word about money, actually. The official exchange rate in Turkmenistan is $1 is 3.5 Turkmeni mana, or 4 mana at the airport. However, this is not the real exchange rate. You can get mana on the, I guess, grey market for 15 to 20 mana for each dollar. So do not ever take the official exchange rate. We've never been to a country where you have to do this, and obviously we were massively British and awkward about the entire experience going into cafes and asking to change money. Just got absolutely ripped off for $15 for the worst quality t-shirt I've ever bought in my entire life, but that's for you, Alec. But I got this free hat with it. Absolutely loving my hat. $15 well spent.
I'm sure Alec would enjoy it.
Trying to do this discreetly because there are a few police and soldiers around here. But this used to be called Lenin Park. Now it is no longer called Lenin Park. It's called something else. But Google Maps, I can't get any Wi-Fi, so I couldn't tell you what it's actually called. But here is the last remnants of the USSR in Ashgabat. Here is Vladimir Lenin, covered in carpets. Here he is, the man himself. Well, I had to switch to the iPhone for a slightly better... The sun's not helping this statue situation. There he is. The big man himself. Vladimir Lenin. Surrounded by tiles. How do you feel about me making you walk all this way to see a statue of Vladimir Lenin?
Mildly irked.
The last remnants of the USSR. Although I would say that whilst there's not many statues of Soviet leaders, etc., the entire place does feel pretty Soviet, with its huge apartment blocks. In fact, I think they've kind of carried on the Soviet legacy, but in more of a Turkmen way. Do you agree with that, Emma?
What?
And opposite Lenin Park. What an amazing mural. We're about to finish our trip, and I can't think of anything that I'd rather be doing than looking at this cute, cool Soviet mural. What about you, Emma?
I've been promised an Irish bar.
So even though I found Lenin, this isn't the end of the video, because I've heard rumours there's an Irish pub. So an Irish pub in Ashgabat. So we've got to track down this Irish pub. And you up for a drink from an Irish pub?
Yeah, why not?
Just even in Ashgabat, there's an Irish pub. Here we are in the middle of former Soviet Ashgabat, clever Irish pub. Here you go in. There you go. It's like an actual pub in the middle of... Because we wasted 200 of our last mana seeing a rubbish carpet museum, which I hold my hands up, is my fault. We have enough mana left for Emma to have one beer and for me to get a Coke in this Irish pub. Here you go, weird, it's an Irish pub in Ashgabat.
I wouldn't say it had a lot of crack in it, if I'm honest. But, you know, it's what you make of it, isn't it? It's fine.
Different, isn't it? Anyway, that's it for our Ashgabat adventures. I guess we will see you next time when we're somewhere in the world, or more likely, probably hiding and seeking in Bangkok. All right? Bye-bye.